Welcome back. I am Lara Jaye, and we are talking about home and land clearing today. This is something that I have been doing for decades and decades before I even knew what I was doing. I'm excited to share with you today this information and the importance of a home clearing. Now, these house clearings and blessings, they honestly have existed for centuries and centuries. They are deeply rooted in many cultures and spiritual traditions. And the practices are designed to cleanse a home of what? Negative energies, entities, spirits, or ghosts, whatever, and to invite positive energy and blessings into the space. The history of house clearings and blessings can be traced back to ancient cultures worldwide. In many indigenous cultures, the belief in spirits and energy is so prevalent that they believe that these energies actually affected the physical world, which they do. Shamans, priests, other spiritual leaders in all kinds of cultures perform these rituals to cleanse and bless homes to protect the occupants from negative energies or spirits. And so the reason that they did this is they believed that evil entities or dark energy, whatever you want to call it, could actually get into a person's home and cause harm to the inhabitants, to the people who live there. So as a result, the priest or shaman, whoever would come in, even the Catholic Church would do this, would come in and perform what they called exorcisms and blessings on the home to protect the people who lived in the home. So house clearings and blessings, they're still practiced in many cultures and spiritual traditions today. And we understand now, we understand what they're for and why they're being used. There are so many different benefits to a home clearing. They help cleanse the negative energy from a space. They promote positive energy. They protect the occupants. They create that peaceful and harmonious environment, improving this overall well-being and quality of life for the people who live there. House clearings don't need to be this scary thing that you see on TV. It's not like that at all. Well, it's not like that for me. I think it depends on what frequency, what are you tuned into? I myself am tuned into the highest frequency of love and light, and that is my goal for every single home that I enter, that I work on remotely, whatever piece of home or land or space, whatever it is, I tune into it and I begin by observing. I want to see what's going on. Now, normally by this time, a family has come to me or a business and asked me, hey, can you take a look at this property and see what's going on, or if there is anything going on. There could be a lot of fighting in the home, could be a lot of divorces and maybe an entire community. You could be feeling like somebody is watching you, or just kind of a strange, uncomfortable feeling. Maybe kids aren't sleeping well at night, unexplained occurrences, pipes bursting, fires starting, arguing, stressful living, on and on. Maybe you just had a party at the house and a lot of people dump their extra energies. You could just be feeling drained or feeling overwhelmed. These are reasons somebody would call me to do a house clearing. I would begin by tuning in to the address to the home and see what's going on. What is the root cause of X? Why these physical manifestations? Why is the plumbing continuing to burst? Why did the mirror fall off the fireplace? I look at it from a higher perspective, yes, there's a physical perspective. I look at it from the metaphysical, from the spiritual perspective, and want to see what the root cause was. What is the energy that created the physical manifestation of it in the first place? And like our bodies, our homes can become cluttered and stagnant with negative energy. In last week's episode, I talked a lot about portals and screens, so I am not going to go into that again, but it's a really important one that I always see almost every single home have open portals in their screens. So something you need to definitely listen to that one if you have not listened to the one on portals yet, and what is coming into your home and how they're getting in. The other way things are getting in are just you being about your day, going to the grocery, going to work, picking up things in traffic. There are all kinds of reasons for what's happening and what you're bringing into your home, especially if there's a lot of people who live in your home. There's a lot of different energies, or maybe you just had that party and so there were 50 people in your house, bringing in a lot of different energies that maybe don't resonate or harmonize with you. These are the things that I look at, and with intention, with prayer and intention, I move the energy. We have the power to move the energy. Energy can never be destroyed, but we can observe the energy. And we can, if it's energy that we don't want or we don't like, we can transmute it, we can move it. So that is my goal. If it isn't love and light, if it isn't love, joy, peace, gratitude, anything lower than those frequencies, I demand that they have to be returned to God. They have to be returned to the light. They have no place in my home. They have no place in the home of people who I am clearing their spaces and their homes and their businesses. It's up to us to be in our power and to command the energy. We don't have to just roll over and let the energy take control of us. That's not what this is about. This is about saying, I've been blessed with this beautiful home and this wonderful family, and I want only the highest love and light, the highest frequencies in this home. And whatever I need to do to protect our home, to keep it clear on a weekly basis, on a daily basis, I will do that. This is about loving a space, not hating a home. This is about handling my emotions, handling the emotions of people who live in the home so that it doesn't become a physical manifestation of pipes bursting because I didn't deal with something, which is very common. Water, pipes bursting is emotions. What are you not dealing with? What are you not wanting to feel? And if you keep pushing it down and pushing it down and pushing it down, it may eventually come out in a flood, come out in a burst of something. Again, that's the physical manifestation of something that is happening at a spiritual, at a quantum level, that if we can switch the energy there, then it can trickle down into the 3D, into our home, to have that balanced and harmonious feeling again. So when my kiddos were little and they were a little cranky, I would, while they were at school or preschool, I would play, back in the old days, radios, Christian music or classical music. At the time, those were the only two that I even knew about. I don't even think there was spa radio or Reiki this or any. There probably was some of the other drumming and some of those other frequencies. But anyway, back then, all I had was classical music and Christian music. Those were the two radio stations and frequencies that I knew intuitively to play in the kiddos' rooms when they were having a hard time. And immediately, it didn't take very long, the energy would shift in their rooms. And when they would re-enter in, they would be able to sleep again. They would be less cranky. Our walls absorb the energy of whatever is going on in the room. And nowadays, there are so many different options on Spotify and Pandora and YouTube, the frequencies, Calm, all the different apps, all the amazing apps and frequencies that we can be playing in different rooms in our home. When I actually do a house clearing now, I duplicate myself. I put my iPad in one room and run all of my light language meditations while I'm walking the rest of the house. That duplicates me to clear the room and begin to breaking up the energy and letting the room start absorbing some new frequencies, some new energies while I'm walking around doing the bigger stuff. In my book, I have all different kinds of stories about my own home and how I learned to house clear without even knowing what I was doing. And then also some client stories, some bigger client stories on clearing different spirits and ghosts and closing portals. Basically, if you ever walk into a room in your house and you feel off, there's probably something off. It's trusting yourself. It's being self-aware and trusting yourself and your intuition that, hey, there's something in here, or there's something that I can clear in this room. And these negative, these disruptive energies, they can come from various sources, like I mentioned, including our own emotions. So people and events in a space, even the land underneath a structure can leak into your home. So aside from the occasional ghost or the displaced spirit, there are disturbed nature energies. There are infected objects like a vase that maybe you brought back from a trip to Africa. There are open electronic portals. There's trauma energies. There's black magic, vows, and soul contracts. All of these things affect the house's energy. And my role as a house clearer, I actually have a 3-page Excel spreadsheet checklist that I go through to check all of the different energies. And then usually there's something that wasn't on my checklist that is the root cause of whatever it is that is going on. And one interesting, fun thing that I do is realtors all over the country reach out to me to look at homes from a metaphysical perspective on why they're not selling. And the most common reason that a house is not selling is because the current owner either is still living there and tied to the house energetically, or may already be moved on, but energetically still corded to the house. So the new owners are not able, it's not on their radar, it's not on their frequency, the new owners aren't even feeling the frequency of this house yet. So my role is to unhook the current owner and bring in the new owner for the highest and the best for all. So if you yourself are getting ready to sell your house, it's always a good idea to do a little ceremony for you to unhook, especially if this is a house that you have raised your kiddos in and you and your family have lived in it for a really long time. Energetically, you have got a lot of cords to it, and it's going to be hard to let it go, even though you might be 100% consciously adamant, I'm ready to move on. It still can be very difficult to sell it or for you to move on if you're still tied to it. With almost every single client I have, I ask them for their home address so that I can tune in to their home to make sure that it's supporting them. So while we do the energy clearing on their physical body, if they go home or they go to a workspace that is very toxic and angry or has some dark energies, that's not going to serve them, and they're not going to be able to hold their frequency. So it's important for each person to be able to not just keep their own energy clear, but to understand what's happening in their home as well and their businesses. So things to look for after an energy clearing is the house calmer? Are people getting along? Does it feel happier and lighter? How about more laughing, less depression? Items maybe not are falling off the walls anymore. Plumbing issues should stop. New opportunities start coming in. Money's flowing better. If the house is for sale, then it sells more quickly and effortlessly. Maybe your clarity returns. You feel good in the space. You sleep better. Addictions can even lighten after a house clearing. My ultimate goal for every house and every space I bless is an energy that feels like a hug when you enter the room. It needs to feel in alignment with you, in harmony. I give several examples in my book of different house clearings. One of them I want to mention. Sally's husband had recently passed away in her house, and she was having some trouble selling it. And she contacted me before an upcoming open house asking for assistance clearing the energy, which it did. We sold it in a week. And I was actually in Italy. The house was in Florida, and I did the clearing from Italy, and the house sold, like I said, very quickly in a week. And another one, I had a young mom, Amy, called me for help when her kids began screaming as they were tucked into bed at night. And the little one shared a room. So I intuitively tuned in. I saw her husband sitting on the floor in the kids' room, but he was talking to an angry customer. And the customer's energy had come through the telephone, planting itself in the kids' room. So as soon as I cleared the energy, the angry energy from his client in the room, the kids were able to sleep again. These are just really unique examples. And I have one more I want to share. Another client, Sarah, had reached out for help after several unusual occurrences in her house, including repeated flooding and wood pantry shelves falling to the ground. So what I found, I actually did this one in person. In addition to a friendly ghost in the house, there was some dark, heavy energies in a few of the corners. And although the homeowner didn't have any kids, I intuitively was seeing several baby spirits in the backyard. Now, it was very odd. When I told Sarah this, the homeowner, she knew that the previous homeowner was an OBGYN. So I saw these many stillborn baby spirits they had attached to this physician to come home to live with him at his house. House clearing is very important. I do my own as often as I feel like it needs it. And again, I always look at it with clients as well to see what it is that they need to help support them in their transformation. Generally, a house clearing is involved in that of some sort and some direction. Our homes are these extensions of ourselves, and we want to feel so balanced and so good and harmonious. It needs to be a place of rest and love and light, a place where we can renew our energies. And that's why I believe home clearings are so important now more than ever as we continue to transform ourselves. Our homes, of course, will change as well. And it's about knowing when we feel off and commanding the energies to shift. I have all kinds of resources on my website. If Your Walls Could Talk, What Would They Say? Ebook. Shoot me an email at team@larajay.com if you would like me to send you that ebook. It gives instructions on how to do your own house clearing. And in the meantime, just begin to notice what room feels really good to you and what room could use a little clearing, a little incense, maybe open a window, say a prayer, start moving some energy. You deserve to feel amazing in every room in your house. Allow that to be your goal, to feel like a hug when you walk in at night. Have a great week.